president had to get involved and call out the troops. And they brought in tanks, and people were freaking out, because that's not, you know, that happens other places, it doesn't happen. And Detroit wasn't the only one. New York had a riot, Detroit had a riot, Los Angeles had a riot. So these were breaking out during the 1960s all over the place. Right after this, they knew that they had a problem, so they had to do something to at least appease the people that were being repressed, right? And so in '68, they signed the Voting Rights Act. And that makes sure they can't discriminate against you because of whatever color of skin you have, or whatever class you come from. And so actually these riots, and that was a response to trying to appease the people that were being repressed and sought that way. They show you a picture of Martin Luther King. He was, by the way, he spoke about not doing this. And he felt bad that this would happen. I mean, he always marched with non-violent resistance. That's what he believed in. He was nothing against people rising up, but you were peaceful. And so it would break his heart when he would see a place like Detroit blow up. Here's what I remember. These are real personal memories, but I was in summer school in 1967 because some stupid math teacher thought that I had a math problem. And I'll just let you know that the guy teaching the summer school, he says, "Why in the hell are you in this class?" After he gave us a little test, you know, to start. And I said, "Because my math teacher thinks I'm stupid." And he says, "Well, you're not, so you're okay." But the reason why I mentioned that summer school, they got canceled. Because summer school was going on when this riot broke out. So I went, great, go to that stupid math class I don't want to go to anyway. And so they canceled all the summer school programs were canceled just because of this, because they thought it was dangerous for people to be out. And I'm living away from this. I'm probably 10 miles away from where those pictures are going. Okay. The other thing is, my family, we still do this every single year. We've been doing it since I was 11 or 12. We go to the same lake. I'll do it again this year. So I'm 55 now. But I've been going to the same place since I was 12. We went up, did our regular normal vacation. But what I remember is driving back from the lake into Detroit to get back to my neighborhood. The city was, the smoke above the city was amazing. And I'm sitting as a kid trying to figure all this out. Why is the city of Detroit being burned down? My parents tried to explain it the best they could, but it was still a topic, and I'll never forget it, because I remember going away, coming back, and then seeing the smoke over the city of Detroit. And Detroit used to be, and by the way, it was a great place because of the auto industry. There were, in the 50s and 60s and 70s, there were lots of jobs, there was lots of work for people, and there were a lot of people that lived there. But they were also being discriminated against, and then they got mad one day and said, "We're going into the streets." And they had to blow the anger out. And then the government would try to help fix what was wrong and try to give more rights to people. The goal, and this is sort of a U.S. history class, the goal of our Constitution is to keep adding people who gets equal treatment under the law. After the Civil War, it's a matter of adding people to who gets protected by the law. And this was the culmination of it was by the end of the 70s, then things have changed. No matter what you think, the night that Barack Obama got elected 4 years ago, it was a big deal. Because I remember 1967, and I remember that loony guy. He's probably turning in his grave because he was so afraid of African Americans, and now we have an African American president. And by the way, even if you didn't vote for him, he's a huge symbol that we've got a long ways to go, but we finally got over the whole racism thing. And I get angry and I get emotional. You can tell that because not every time I talk about it. But it's a huge symbolic move, but we got a long ways to go. It's not over just because we elected a guy president. It's more, but that would have, boy, if you would have said that in '67 or '68, everybody would have thought you were nuts, because who would vote for a black guy? No matter how smart he is, no matter if he's from Harvard, no matter whatever he's done in his life, would not be enough. Somehow we got past that, and now he's in for real. And the interesting thing, I remember this, the guy that's running against Obama this year, his name is Romney. His father was governor of Michigan when this took place. He's the guy, our governor was Governor Romney, who's the father of the guy that's running against Obama this year, who ordered the troops in to try to settle it down. And then they couldn't do it with the police, so then he had to go to the president and say, I need more help. And that's when, you know, that picture of those guys on the bus, those military guys on the bus in the tanks, that came from the federal government from Washington. Because they needed, he said, this is going to go on too long, we need military help. But it's interesting that I remember Governor Romney, who's the father of the guy running for president now. So the names don't seem to change very often. But that's what's going on here. So, are there any questions? I mean, I can take other questions.